Okay, hi. Welcome back to Podcast for the Released. I hate hearing myself, so I do not want to hear that. But hi, I'm Lewis Stardust, and we're here with Mr. Guy here. Introduction? No?
Mr. Guy here?
Yeah, it's been a long time. I don't know if you can tell.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm the co-host, Joe Matissa, and welcome to Podcast for the Recently Released. Sorry it's been a while, but we are back.
Oh my god, you're so loud, and I'm so not right now.
Why?
We are in a new studio, if you couldn't tell. We're going to talk a little bit about where we've been for the past, 8 months, I guess, right?
Yeah, we got quite a few things that we have planned here on our list. Just a couple overviews of things we've been watching. We haven't been through too much watching, or I guess catching up with most of the things we've been doing because of all the moving and stuff like that. But we'll explain that right now. What do you think? What do you want to start with?
I'm just looking, and the last time we uploaded it was July. So let me bring you back to that time. In July, we decided, or a little bit before that, I guess we decided we were moving from New Jersey to Virginia. And we were kind of under the impression that we would only be in our camper for a couple weeks and moving into our house in August, roughly, was kind of the assumption. Well, that turned into we didn't move into our house until after Thanksgiving, until right before Christmas. So we spent from July to almost half of December in a camper. And it was us and our dog Gypsy. And now we have another dog who might pop in here at some point because she needs a lot of attention. So you might see her. That we found on our property. Yes, we found a dog on our property. Joe made the mistake of telling me if we ever found a dog on our property and it had no home, we can keep it. And guess what? I did that immediately. So
I never said that.
He said that in New Jersey, and let the record state that was said before. So we've just been really trying to move and get things together. Our first priority was kind of our podcast space, which isn't really done yet. There is a lot of cool stuff in here. We got some cool neons. We got these foam soundy thingies. I don't think you could see it on my screen.
You can see it over on my screen here.
Yeah.
We got a couple of them. We got them up on the sides of the walls here as well.
We sound real professional.
Maybe we do.
For ASMR. But, yeah, so we've been just really trying to make it feel I want it to feel in here like it's a cool 80s arcade. So there's definitely a lot of neons. There's a lot of horror elements in here because we have so much horror collectibles that there's nowhere to put it in our house because each room is kind of like a specific decade, if that makes sense. So this is our 80s sci-fi horror, like a B horror 80s room is what I want. You go to the arcade, you get attacked by a werewolf, this is what this room is.
Yeah, and I think at some point I'll go and I'll mount another camera. That way you can really see the whole room. Because, we got a lot of really cool stuff up here, and we'll put all kinds of, new stuff as the days go on and stuff like that.
But I wanted to say is the reason we haven't had an episode in a while is because, like I said, we were planning on quickly getting into a house and at least just setting up this room, and that didn't happen until I want to say a week or two ago we really got this room done because I figured it would take a couple weeks, but we had to wait for things to come in. I needed to wait for Joe to put things up, and we had the holiday, so it just got a lot of crazy. But we're back. I'm excited. We're going to be able to record episodes very easily now because this is our dedicated space. If you look at our videos on YouTube before, it was a really bad setup that we try to make look cute.
Yeah, it was half our changing room that we used that was connected to the bedroom, and we also stored other stuff in there.
It wasn't good. But I think this is going to be really cute when it's done. And I also stream in here now. So by the time this podcast episode is live, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch, which is twitch.tv/LewisStardust. I'm going to be doing some D&D character creation stuff on there. I got into Magic the Gathering 2 days ago, so I know there's some new stuff coming out, and I want to do unboxings for cards and stuff. I play games. I do chatty IRL stuff. A little bit of everything. So if you want to come hang out with me, I usually do 2 to 3 streams a week. Get your fill. You listen to the podcast one day. You listen to me in real life in a couple of days. Maybe we could even do a live podcast on there or something.
Yeah, that would be really cool. We could do a couple different things throughout it because now it's set up to really kind of go from one end to the other just a couple feet.
Yeah, it's really close. And there's actually a section on Twitch for podcasts and live shows. So, like, people do it on there. So I think it'd be cool to do some, like, live episodes. We could take questions live and stuff. And I think that'd be really, really fun. So, yeah, that's kind of, like, what's been going on here. Like I said, I'm into Magic the Gathering right now. And I'm looking for all the hot babe cards. So if you know cards with hot babes, let me know. What else have we been doing?
Let's just ignore that.
Oh, I said D&D because I didn't really get to talk about this. Like, when the pandemic hit, there was nothing to do except stay inside. And for the first few months, that was Animal Crossing for me. And then I finally got the chance to play D&D online. So now I am really into D&D, and I have a lot of dice. And Joe says that I can't get any more, but that's a lie because I bought a new box that could fit more dice today.
Wow, well, I not really into any of that stuff. I didn't do any of that during the break. I worked on a couple things for the shop and stuff, and then we ended up closing the studios and then having to do the move, so it was a whole bunch of things. But now we are back on track and doing our podcast. We are on episode 55.
Oh my God, now. Is that it? I didn't even know what number we were.
Yeah, we're on 55 right now, and I'm going to put this list up again today because we're going to cover a few things. We're going to cover The Wilds. We're going to cover The Mandalorian, Cobra Kai, WandaVision, Sweet Home, and we'll probably do a few honorable mentions as well. We're going to kick it off right away with The Wilds. I'm going to let you take over on that because you know more about that than I do.
I just have a lot to say. So we've actually watched so much good stuff, and I wanted to do like a 2020 roundup episode, but we just didn't get to film in time, so maybe we could like throw that in one week and be like our 2020 favorites or something, because we didn't get a chance to talk about a lot of really great stuff that came out this past year. But The Wilds is an Amazon Prime show. Amazon Prime like does originals. I've liked some of their movies, but I haven't found a show on there that I really, really liked, honestly. Is there anything you can think of?
On what?
Amazon Prime, like a show that's from them.
The Boys.
Oh, yeah, besides The Boys, right? And there's another one.
I think there was another one. I can't think offhand, but nope, The Tick.
Okay, that's the one you like, yeah. The Boys I like, but there really isn't too much originals in comparison to, like, Netflix putting out originals all the time. So, this is a show that takes place in the present time, life before the island, and then life after the island. So basically what happens is a group of teenage girls with all different backgrounds are on an airplane, and they're on their way to a like very spiritual feminist wellness retreat, and the plane crashes and leaves them stranded on an island. And
is this Lost?
It's basically like Lost, yeah, but I don't think it hasn't ended yet, and I don't think it's as bad as Lost ending. So
it's Lost.
So they survive the crash, and they find themselves on an island, and the girls have to work to survive as castaways and learn about each other. They're kind of they tell you this in the first episode because it's kind of eerie the way it happens, but you wind up finding out that this is part of an experiment. The plane crash was intentional, and it's not everything that this like fun, hip, spiritual, feminist retreat seems like it's gonna be.
Oh snap.
So they're subjects of this experiment, and there's this like weird head bitch named Gretchen, and the project is called The Dawn of Eve, and it's just like the adventures on the island at that like, which is the past, because at the present time that they show you in the room, they've already been rescued. So they've been rescued. They're having interviews with different psychiatrists and doctors and stuff like that in a room, and they're talking about their time on the island, and you could see that they're all very different from when they show their clips of the life before. So I don't know. I guess we're just really gonna get into like spoilers, right? Because there's no way to get around it. But if you want something that is kind of like a Lost meets Lord of the Flies, I would definitely say watch it. I don't think it's like, because there's definitely shows that are like, this is a feminist show and this is this, but I don't think it's that. I think the project that they're trying to do and the retreat of the Dawn of Eve, that is a very like crazy view of like feminism, because the woman who brought those girls there wants to prove that in a society like this, that women wouldn't react like men do. Men, they are just angry and they fight and they wouldn't be able to do things together. Women have the ability to work together and to do these things. So she's fucking crazy. But you learn earlier, like the first episode starts with a girl named Leah. And then you see her getting interviewed, and it cuts to the island, and it cuts to her backstory. Her backstory is like fucking crazy.
Tell you a bit about my backstory.
Yeah, hers is like that she was hooking up with this writer, and she's in high school, and she lied to him and said that she was 18, and he was a really old. Yeah, it's gross, but it plays into the parts that happen in the story. And I will say, something that hasn't really been like shown yet is how all of the girls got sent to this island. Like, some met Gretchen and she convinced them to go. Some of them got pamphlets and their family had them go. But I don't know if the family members truly knew that this was an experiment or not based on the way that it's going. And like, you see one girl in her interview and her arm is gone. But she has an arm because you've seen her the whole time. So you're like, what the fuck has happened on that island? You're waiting for that episode to where it shows you stuff like that. So there's a lot of things about character traits that drastically change from who they are when they started, that when you see them in that final room, you're like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, snap.
Yeah, and I think it's just a really, because all the backstories deal with, like, I don't want to say teenage girl drama, which sounds boring, but it's actually very realistic, like, type of stories. You have a girl who's like hiding the fact that she's gay from her very strict religious parents, and then you have a girl who's like a athlete and is trying to be an athlete so hard, but she doesn't have the specific body type for it, so she has an eating disorder. So it's like these weird things, but they all make a perfect harmony of like these girls that they put on the island. And it's really interesting to see how girls from such different backgrounds and stories can work together. But when you're watching the show, you get the eerie feeling again that the FBI people who are interviewing them and the doctors and stuff might not be regular doctors, and they might actually be working with this group so they're not rescued. I know you don't care. I just think, like, if you like Survivor stories and stuff like that, which I really got into Survivor this year.
Hence the hood right there.
Hence this, yes. So I think, like, that was a cool, different version of that, and excuse me, I think you would really like it. I know I'm not explaining it well, but there's a lot to it that I don't want to spoil, and I think it is worth watching if you have Amazon Prime.
Well, one thing that I can say that we both watched together is The Mandalorian.
You segued off before I was done.
Oh, come on.
I'm talking about Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, I just want to put out there that you can sub to my Twitch channel for free. Amazon Prime gives you the ability to subscribe to one Twitch channel with your subscription. So if you would like to sub to my channel and check out my content, there's some really cool rewards. We got emotes that Joe made. There's also like my little Illuminati what's it called? Subscriber badges. I have a private Discord. I'm dying. I'm sorry. You can segue.
All right. Back to it. I get to segue with The Mandalorian. Now, a lot of people already get the gist of The Mandalorian. I don't really have to explain it. You know what I mean? We're what, 2 seasons in now, so everybody's got that whole deal. Everybody loves Baby Yoda. If you haven't watched Mandalorian, you at least know Baby Yoda and all that kind of crap. But man, was the second season a really good time. I don't know about you, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's going to be spoilers that I'm going to be talking about during this period. So if you're not into that, I suggest you just go watch the show and then watch this. Then you're all good. It'll only take a bit, right?
I mean, yeah, I didn't watch all of it. I fell asleep right as the Ahsoka, is that her name? Stuff happened. What? Are you upset? I have like a tickle in my throat and I cannot. It's real bad. I'm so sorry.
All right, well, you want me to take over then?
I mean, you can. I will say I'm very happy with all the Baby Yoda stuff this season. I hate his stupid name. We're going to ignore it. He's still Baby Yoda. I like, is that her name, Ahsoka? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Ahsoka.
Love that. I thought that was very cool. She looks great. I Pedro Pascal, good for him. He's killing it. I don't really have much else to say, so feel free to talk about the show.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Ahsoka, I really loved seeing Ahsoka in this, who's played by, what's her name? Rosario Dawson. And she kicked ass. That was really great. And I really love Gina Carano's character. Cara Dune.
I feel like I haven't seen much of her at all, but I guess maybe I fell asleep, so I don't know if I've seen anything else. But I liked her character in the first season, so.
Yeah, she was great. I also really like Bill Burr's character.
You know who I like? I like the lady who always wants to babysit. What's his name? Grogu? Baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah. Fucking frazzle dazzle.
Yeah, she's good.
Crazy hair.
Love that. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, she's really great. But the end of this season really changes the whole dynamic for the show and how things are going to go. I mean, when you see, Carl Weathers' character, Grief, what is his?
Grievous?
No. That's not Carl Weathers' character. Giancarlo Esposito's character, Moff Gideon, that guy with the dark saber. Well, let me tell you, he's pretty awesome. But at the end, when that whole fight goes down, spoiler alert, and the Mandalorian gets the dark saber and everything, and then, shit goes really haywire, and we see the man himself, Luke Skywalker, come in on some, like, very replica kind of scenes to old Darth Vader scenes, I guess, like similar to the one at the end of Rogue One, I believe. Similar kind of deal.
Yeah, for me, like, I didn't get to see that. I saw it on the internet the next day. It was blown up everywhere, so I think people were very excited by it, and I understand completely, but that was not that I really care about spoilers for Star Wars anymore. I feel like I just got destroyed after the last movie. So,
which is why I think I'm so in love with this show, because this takes us away from the new 3 episodes that just happened, so we can hopefully forget about that for a little while.
I will say Disney isn't doing, like, much with original shows right now, but this is fantastic. Like, they really hit it out the park.
We're about to talk about WandaVision in a little bit. And
yeah, but
really
they've been slacking, and I'm tired of Marvel. I'm just saying, like, original, like, Disney content. Like, they don't have an original Disney show. They have Star Wars, cool. They have Star Wars, that's exciting. Marvel show, cool, that's exciting. But I'm saying they don't have a lot of original content on there. I guess they have the Disney Channel, so they don't really need that. But
yeah, well, I definitely think that is what's been keeping people kind of on in general is The Mandalorian, and I think people are just clinging on to the fact that there's going to be some Marvel stuff coming. I mean, it's taking a while, and I'm getting quite bored waiting. I mean, we did get WandaVision, and it's good, but they're short episodes, and it's kind of just fun, as we'll go into that in a little bit. But
we should just go into it now then, if you're already talking about it.
No, we'll go into it in a little bit.
Let's talk about it.
No, we'll take a break from the Disney stuff, and we'll go into what I really want to talk about.
No, let's talk about it now, because that's a perfect segue, and then we could talk about Cobra Kai, and I could talk about my show. So WandaVision, cute. Love the whole I Love Lucy feel. Love the outfits. I love Vision so much. So I'm very happy to see him back. I know this is like this not reality, so I'm sad. I want him to live forever. I will say, and I talk about this all the time, this is like my one, like, is it called a soapbox when you get on there? Yeah, that's how okay. Wanda has been disrespected by the MCU. Marvel, if you are hearing this, fuck you for literally destroying her. I don't mean that. If you ever want to sponsor me, I'll say yes. But I am very, very hurt for what the MCU did to Wanda. Scarlet Witch is probably one of the most powerful, like, people out of all the MCU. Would you agree? Like, from the Avengers?
Scarlet Witch?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they really don't tell you how much Scarlet Witch really can contribute to the whole team. I mean, bullshit. She's like way more powerful.
She's
than they
extremely
let on. They
powerful.
Show you a little bit in Endgame, but I mean,
and you waited till Endgame to show that. I am very.
But I felt that way about a bunch of them, though. What
I'm
about
very
Thor?
yeah. I'm very upset, but I'm very upset with the last 2 movies. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I get it. But I think that she is so powerful and so unique and so interesting of a character to like kind of push her to the side annoys me. I will say I'm happy she has her own show. I don't know where this is going to go realistically because there's only been a couple episodes out.
Yeah, I mean, they're short. They're only like 30-minute episodes. And they're really just quirky and fun, and they just kind of go through the decades.
But
and
as
they're
you're
in a fun style and everything like that.
And as you're watching it, you get that eerie feeling, of course, every episode that things are not actually okay, and you see like a glitch in the matrix kind of happen. And I think that's really fun. But is there potential for other seasons with this, depending on how this adds? Because
what I'm catching from it is that when you watch this show, you're kind of watching this thing where you're trapped in Wanda's like mind, and she managed to bring Vision back to life in this world that she created in her mind. I guess it's like a subconscious thing, but maybe also like another kind of dimension. But it's weird because then you start to also get clues that there are people from the outside world trying to get in. So it's really hard to get a grasp on it right away. They only give you little previews a little bit at a time, and they have lots of references,
which is
to what
fine
it
for
could
me.
be.
But do you know how many episodes this is supposed to be?
I believe it's supposed to be like 10 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be.
And that's not that much. That's the one thing that sucks about streaming shows is like regular television, most seasons are like 20 episodes at least. I mean, there's definitely some that are like 12. I think American Horror Story does like 12 or 14. But like most shows are like 20, 23 episodes. This is like torture when it's like 8 or 10 episodes, man.
And especially like if we're saying if we were competing with what the CW has been doing. What the CW's been doing since even before that when it was just WB, and they've been doing 22 episode seasons, 50-minute episodes, you know, and we're talking long drawn out shows.
Yeah, so for this to be like so short, and then who knows what's going to happen if there's a season 2. But there's definitely things I'm looking forward to from Marvel, but we'll see. I think I was so burnt out from them from all the recent stuff that happened that I'm excited that there's something new and different from the MCU in general, so that's exciting. Also, now that we're talking about short shows, I'm just going to throw something out there real quick. If you couldn't tell from the first show I was talking about, I really like shows that deal with like teenagers. I'm just going to say that. And because we're talking about short shows on Netflix, I watched a show called Julie and the Phantoms, and it was only 9 episodes. It wasn't 8, it wasn't 10, it was 9. That's a stupid number. Stupid. I watched it because it's a Kenny Ortega thing. What?
I don't know. I don't really think that's like a big deal. It's just a short amount of episodes.
Because I thought I had one more episode left, and it left me on a cliffhanger, and I'm very upset about it. I watched it because it's a Kenny Ortega show, and he does like High School Musical and stuff like that, and that's my jam.
I was going to say, is that like a country singer or something?
No. But the show's very good. It's about a boy band, not like a Backstreet Boy band, but like a rock boy band from the 90s that die, and they come back as ghosts, as a girl who has lost her passion for music because her mom died and that was their thing. She's the only one who could see them, and so they help her revive her passion for music. And when she starts to perform, they show up and they perform with her, and people can actually see them. And it's not just her who could see them when they create music. It's really good. I don't know why. I didn't expect to like it. It's literally for children. Like, it's in the kids section of Netflix. It's dumb, but they're actually super talented, and I think that's why I like it so much. The songs are a bop. 10 out of 10. If you got kids or you just want to watch something stupid, watch that, but it's really good at the same time. End of story.
Moving on. We're going to move on now to
Lewis
something
picks
I
for
really
children.
want to talk about.
No.
Again, which is Cobra Kai.
Okay, before we start, I have something to say.
Season 3.
I remember writing a paper on the actor that played Mr. Miyagi.
Was that Pat Morita, right? Is that his name?
No idea. I remember writing it in like middle school.
How are you going to write the paper and not know his name?
Because it was something about how I think he died something with his heart, if I'm not mistaken.
I keep putting up the wrong thing on the screen.
And it was like a current events thing I had to do for health, and I was like, oh, right about the Mr. Miyagi. It was a whole thing. Pretty sure. But I remember watching like the first Karate Kid, and I don't remember much about it, and you are super into Cobra Kai. If you guys didn't see while we were away, Joe actually tattooed a full Cobra Kai thing on his leg. It's absolutely insane. And I think the new season had just aired, right?
Yeah,
Onto
the new
Netflix.
season came out January.
No,
They
no,
did
no,
it right
not
on
the newest
1st.
season. Right before season 2 had like just gone on Netflix, or maybe it was already on Netflix, but I knew season 3 was coming or something, so I finally was like, all right, I'll watch the stupid show that you like. I don't really like Karate Kid, but I guess I'll watch it. Dude, if you like watched Karate Kid once, or if you've never watched it, you can like this show. I promise you. It's, first off, fantastic. We'll get into it, of course, but I binged all 2 seasons in like 2 or 3 days. Like, I was super, super into it. Like I said, I didn't remember anything about Karate Kid. So if you love Karate Kid, you'll of course love the show. But I think even if you're in that weird generational gap, or you don't remember watching it, or you have kids that you want to get into Karate Kid because you loved it, I think this is a really, really great show. And I think it does a good job with that because they put a lot of clips and they give you that nostalgia effect. So.
Yeah. They do a really good job with their Miyagi verse that they call it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this 3rd season, after the 2nd season ends, which if you haven't seen it, I mean, spoilers, like Miguel, the main like young kid that's being taken under Sensei Lawrence's wing in Cobra Kai, he gets his back broken in a school fight and is paralyzed. And the whole way they take this lighthearted but yet still grueling and emotional approach to him getting back on his feet, and the tension between both groups, or dojos, I guess we could say, and and LaRusso going out and trying to fix his issues, and Johnny going out and trying to fix his issues, and yet the kids still having their problems as well that aren't being handled, and everything coming to a head. It was awesome. Really good time. What did you think overall?
So I'm going to dial it back a little bit because I like what you were saying there. So starting off with Miguel and him trying to get his feeling back into like his legs and stuff. I love that there's like the nurse approach. There's the like holistic doctor that comes and does like therapy. And then there's Johnny Lawrence's approach, which is, you want this Playboy? Like, stand up on your legs so you can see this Playboy. You want to do this? Like, it's just such a stupid approach. But every time he does it, you could see it kind of works, which I think is like, for him, like, his sensei is so important to him, and he wants to strive to be like, to make him happy, I guess. What's the word? To make him proud of him too. So to have somebody not only like not want to give up on you when you're at that point in your life, I can't imagine how low that must be. You know what I mean? And when he finally does like tap his foot again at a fucking concert, like an 80s style concert.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, that shit made me emotional. I was just like, look at him. He's literally just having fun, and he's able to like start walking again. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm acting like this is a real person. I just really, really love him, and I love their bond. Obviously, if you watch the show, you'll see that Johnny doesn't really have the best relationship with his kid. He's trying. He's not very good at trying, but he's trying. And so their relationship is so special, and I really enjoy that. Anything to say about that before I dive into more stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I really like the whole thing with Johnny and Miguel, and then you also see Johnny try to rekindle things with Robbie, who is now locked up in the trailer.
I have something to say about Robbie. Robbie is the modern Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That haircut, that baby face, he's literally Jonathan Taylor Thomas reborn, even though I know that he's alive still. Fantastic. I think he's going to be like that modern hot heartthrob like he was. I think he's just going to be really good. Like, I don't know. Everything. Love Robbie. 10 out of 10. Don't love that he's in jail. Stupid. Free Robbie.
Yeah,
he's free.
Really,
it's fine.
He's really funny, like, his whole situation and the way he handles it. His, like, watching him try to skateboard before he, like, gets locked up when he's hanging with his buddies is funny. But in this one, it's like him in his juvenile detention center fighting with people, and I'm more interested the whole time with Miguel's whole situation, and I'm really interested the whole time in Hawk. Hawk is awesome in this season.
All right, so
and if you haven't like really got a chance to dive into the show, when you do and you get to see Hawk, he's a great character.
I will say with Robbie, I definitely, not that I was bored, but I think this is my problem. Like, it happens with me with Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things, for example, that one scene in the most recent season when they're trying to get the information from Susie and they do the Never-Ending Story song, I was screaming at my TV because I was like, I just need everything to be okay, and you're singing a fucking song. Like, I was freaking out. But once I watched the season again, I'm like, I love this part. I think it's so good. With Robbie and a lot of the things that happen with Kreese, this season, I wanted to just rush through it to get to the end. So for him to, like, be in juvie for so many episodes, I was tired of it. I know it had to happen. It's not realistic for him to be in juvie one episode and then out of juvie like the next.
Yeah, a lot of time does fly during this time, and you got to understand they do short episodes, so they really try to, like, give you the idea that quite a bit of time has passed.
Yeah, and with him, like, of course, I feel for him, like, when his dad doesn't show up to, you know, see him there, and there's the whole thing with him being on the run. I enjoy that more than him actually being in juvie. I will say he broke my heart at the end of the season, but we'll save the finale episode to talk about because there's so much I want to talk about for that specific episode, if that's okay. I have a lot to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk a ton about just the episode specifically.
Yeah.
But just in general, you know, it was really cool. There's a lot to dive into for each person's little connection in the whole story, and you get a whole little backstory for Kreese, and that really opens up, and Kreese becomes a pretty interesting character as well. You kind of feel for him in a way, but at the same time you're like, damn, he's a hard-ass dude. But he's really cool in this season. I just have not a lot of bad stuff to say. I mean, and also you get Danny and Johnny together at one point, fighting people, and like a little duo, and that's really cool. I mean, there's just a lot of fun stuff. I really can't say too much bad about this show, aside from the fact that I think the fights were better in the previous season than they were in this season.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, like, just a lot of fun, tons of comedy, tons of emotion. That one's really good.
To bring it back to Kreese a little bit, that's also a thing where I was like, come on, man, like, I get your backstory, but I just want to get through this season, because that was the only thing we were really doing at this time, was watching Cobra Kai. Watching it again, I definitely appreciate the scenes more, so I feel like if you're getting not bored, but if you're kind of just like, this is dragging, just chill out, everything's gonna be cool, or give it a second watch to really enjoy his scenes. There was a lot of good Daniel and Johnny stuff, and I loved it, and that's every time it comes on the screen. How many times was I screaming, like literally screaming, jumping around?
She was going nuts.
Yeah,
like,
I was going nuts. Okay, so also, let me throw this out there. I don't like Amanda LaRusso. I'm not a fan. Okay, all the time I get mad. I feel like she's like the equivalent of what's the name? Bryan Cranston's wife.
Skylar,
yes,
right? Was her name?
That's
Skylar?
how Skylar something. I get like mad at her like that. I know she means well,
she was the worst.
But this season, they deal with the LaRussos deal with. I guess the issue would be because of what happened to Miguel. It's associated with Daniel LaRusso because he's the one who taught Robbie how to do karate, and Robbie's the one that kicked Miguel off, and it has a very negative, I guess, effect on their business. So I understand why it's so focused on his business this season, but I will say, when he does go to Japan, right? That's where he goes, Japan?
Yeah, he goes to Okinawa.
Yes.
Which is really awesome.
Beautiful. I thought that whole concept was such a good idea to bring him back to his roots, because he obviously has been kind of going through it right now. I don't know if they could hear it. Oh, these mics are a little bit easier, so they probably can't hear Gypsy, my bad. But I really loved what they did with Daniel this season. I think he needed a lot of spiritual growth, if that makes sense. I think he needed to feel connected to Mr. Miyagi and his roots and everything. And I don't remember the other Karate Kid movies, but they did some throwbacks, which if you like them, that'll be very exciting for you. If you don't know what it is, there are clips that are perfectly synced up with that. I love that so much. I thought that was a great idea. But if I was Daniel LaRusso's wife, I'd fucking kick his ass. You're going to Japan to save our business. You don't do it on the first day, so instead you spend several days doing karate, the thing that has put us here in this situation, and you don't get the business deal. I'd lose my mind. At the end, he gets it. It's fine. But if she were to watch that or like hear about that, she would go nuts.
Yeah, I
She
mean,
would go nuts.
I still like the opportunity to see him get to like
Oh, 100%.
fight Chosen again and learn like connections between, Mr. Miyagi and his sensei and stuff like that. And then that also goes into the kind of final fight aspect of the finale.
He should
which
marry
is
that
really
girl.
good.
He should marry that girl from Japan. I like her. 10 out of 10.
Oh, jeez.
Listen, I love Cobra Kai. I'm sure Amanda will grow on me. I get mad when she gets mad at Daniel, and I just want everything to be okay. Final episode, for me, like, I felt like the same way as you. Like, the fights weren't as crazy as last season and whatever. I think the final episodes, like, fight sequences and stuff, fantastic. I think the final episode was the best finale episode that they have done out of all 3 seasons. I think the characters...
That's big talk right there.
The characters had a lot of growth in just one episode. Because, so the one thing, if you watch the show, you know that it's either your team Miyagi-Do or your team Cobra Kai, or what's it, Eagle
Fang.
Eagle Fang, yeah.
Eagle Fang.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
eagles
yeah.
have fangs.
Johnny
in some
decides
worlds.
to break off from Kreese and make his own dojo, and that is the name, and it's fantastic. Eagle Fang decides that they want to work with Miyagi-Do to stop Cobra Kai because Cobra Kai is getting, like, infected with a disease, which is Kreese. So they decide they want to work together. Yeah, and they're obviously the senseis don't get along, so they're like, we're going to do whatever we can to make them get together. Well, as that's happening at their house, Miss LaRusso's house, these kids from Cobra Kai show up and they fuck shit up, and I want to know how much in damage they cause because that's an expensive house.
That is one thing. They never go into how much damage was caused because they always complain when damage happens, but the parents apparently just forget to mention the fact that their house got messed up.
And you know that Daniel LaRusso has got a lot of money. He's got a lot of money, so like his house is destroyed. I'm gonna assume it's a lot of money that got beat up. It's gone. That's it.
Yeah.
However, I will say I really did like the sequence. I love Hawk's redemption. I loved just the 2 groups like working together because they want a positive outcome for like because they just love karate. That's it, and it's great. I hate the ending dojo sequence with Daniel and Kreese. Fantastic. I loved it so fucking much, and it makes me crazy, but I was very stressed out the whole time. We didn't even talk about what's her face coming back, their girlfriend.
Oh, fucking
Sally, Natalie, Amy.
No, what'd you call it? Allie.
Chrissy, Allie. See, I loved the message that Johnny wrote her. That was like a huge novel, and then Miguel's like, "You're not gonna send this, are you?" And it's just stupid if you watch it.
Well, her last name is like Schwarber or something like that in the thing. But then also, if you look, Miguel's girl,
Tori,
her last name says Schwarber. So I don't really know what's up with that.
My theory, it would be stupid if that's her daughter, honestly, because everybody this prodigy thing. No. I would love if it's like her stepdaughter, because she just got divorced, right? So that's not her real last name anymore. I'm wondering if that's like her stepdaughter or like a relative in some way. I would be very intrigued by that because Tori, we see this season, is basically taking care of, I believe it's her mom and her sibling. Her mom seems like she's sick and she's working to pay the bills because she's the only one that could help provide for them at this time. And she's got a creepy landlord. Disgusting.
But Kreese steps in and saves her from the creepy landlord, which is pretty cool. So that's pretty fun to watch.
We're kind of all over the place with this. There's just a lot of really important things. I will say, though, like I've said earlier, if you've never watched the show, you can easily go through it really easy. If you really don't remember Karate Kid or if you've never watched it before, I would obviously say to watch that, but you can get away with not watching it on there. I think Amazon Prime actually has Karate Kid on there right now for free. It's just with ads. But yeah, I think it's a really fantastic show. I think it's something you could watch with your family, honestly. I think it's, even if you're like not into karate, I told Joe, I'm like, we should go take karate. And he's like, for what? Like, I'm very into it now. Very, very into it. That's like probably one of my top Netflix shows, like my top 5 Netflix shows for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I do love. I don't think I said anything about Johnny Lawrence this season, but I loved everything they did for him. I think there's some positive changes happening in the future, and I would really like to see how because next season, I guess the cliffhanger was that Robbie's staying with Kreese, and next season they have to win, right? They have to win a championship. Like, they have to beat Cobra
Kai.
Yeah, they're
going to fight in a tournament.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's going to decide some things for dojos.
It's going to decide if Kreese leaves or not. So they have to work together to beat him. And that's like the one thing I've been, because every time you see them together in the other seasons, it's so special. And then they fight and you get so upset because they're so close, because they're so similar, Yeah. But I think we'll finally have that. I'm excited.
Getting a little emotional right there.
Yes, I'm very emotional about this show, and I didn't expect to be. It's like a karate soap opera. It's stupid, but I love it so much.
Well, it's a lot of fun, and we definitely enjoyed it. And we're going to give like our overall review of all these
10 out of 10.
At the end. Hey, stop. You can't do it early.
10 out of 10.
All right, well, obviously
10
you know
karate's
it.
out of karate.
But we're going to go to our last one, and she's going to take over a little bit on this one.
Shit.
And this one is called Sweet Home.
Yes, so if you're fans of webtoons, it's literally called Webtoon. That's where you can read online comics by creators. A lot of it's free. You can pay coins to unlock episodes and stuff. There's one called Sweet Home.
The wrong thing. I keep putting up the wrong description, like the basic IMDb description for the show. Like, I'll just randomly go through and tap one that I think is it, and it's like the prior one. So
and it's going to show up in the final edit like that?
Yeah, because I'm just streaming it basically like live in our recording and controlling it on this control board, just kind of getting the hang of this new thing, testing
Well, he does not have the hang of it, as you can see.
Yes, that is very true. But hey, I haven't really messed around with it too much, so, give me a break here. I'm trying. It'll be better and better every episode, I promise. But back to Sweet Home before...
I will say, we do, if you've watched the show before, you know that we love our foreign Netflix shows. I believe this is a Korean, it's a Korean show, and it's based on the webtoon Sweet Home,
Big
like I
Scary
said.
Monsters.
Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to pronounce these characters' names. I'm very sorry. It's been a couple weeks since I've watched it, so I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's following the death of our main character's family. They had a tragic accident, and he moves into a new apartment. His quiet life is soon disrupted by strange incidents that are occurring in his new building, as people turn into monsters, which take the form of their hidden desires. He and the other residents try to survive. So this show I watched with my mom, and Joe didn't get to watch it because he...
No, I did get to see a decent amount of this show. So I did see, and especially towards the end, I saw a lot. So it was pretty cool. So
it's basically like, almost like a zombie outbreak, which is what you expect it to be. So they live in this apartment building, and above the apartment building, it seems like the bottom floor is almost like a market. Like, there's a convenience kind of store, an Asian food market, like a few things, and then it goes out of the building. And... The way that this is filmed is really interesting to me. Our main character had previously tried to commit suicide, so he's like in this very like sad headspace. He's a loner. He's very to himself. And when this starts happening, the way that their apartments are set up is like, if you ring the doorbell, it's almost like a little camera pops up and you can see who's there, so you don't have to look through the little hole at your door. And when it first starts happening, you can see the creatures look very human, but then their eyes will go black, and it's like they split real fast, and then they turn into these monsters. And these monsters are so much more different than zombies. Like, it's not your traditional take of what a zombie
they definitely vary quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like straight up monsters. Like, the way that this
each.
whole show is presented, though, it feels like a zombie apocalypse show or movie. You know what I mean? It's got that formula to it. And I even think at one point they think it's like zombies. They're like, oh, you were bit, you must turn into a zombie. Not exactly true. So the monsters in this are so interesting looking. I will say it's kind of like a video game. Like, the graphics aren't like, or what's the word? Not the graphics.
The CGI?
Yeah, the CGI isn't like super crazy. It's a little cheesy, but I think that's what makes them interesting. And all of, like, they said, I'm so sorry. They said it's their deepest desires, like their hidden desires, is what brings out the type of monster that they become. And it's very interesting. Like, there's this one dude who's like super swole and he's a huge monster and he keeps talking like he's straight up like a gym rat and it's just super stupid. There's some fucked up monsters outside the building, and there's residents that are dying and turning inside the building. And I think at one point there's one that relies on hearing, so our characters try to get around, you know, that by being quiet and stealthy and just things like that that are very interesting. There's also this like super buff firefighter chick in the show. Oh my god. 10 out of 10. She's the best character, kicks ass. She has relations to a guy that could kind of understand what caused this outbreak to happen. I don't think they really specify too much with it. There's definitely like a small military branch that they get into with this show. But it definitely leaves a cliffhanger for another season. I think all the characters that they show are very interesting. You do see some of their life before the incident, and you get to see like a bit about them, which I very much enjoy as well. And I think our main character is like the dopest because he has the ability to, spoiler alert, he turns into a monster, but not to the fullest extent like the rest of the monsters we see. He has the ability to kind of switch it on and off. So he winds up doing all the runs to clear out the floors and to kill the monsters because he's a little bit more immune than an average person that's in the building still. And I think the way that they like try to quarantine people is very interesting for their group to see who the leader is. Everything that they do is a very cool and refreshing take on like a post-apocalyptic show like this. I'm going to read the webtoon immediately because I'm very excited to see where else this goes. I think there's a lot more to it than I can actually articulate because it's so specific, but I will say we do like a lot of our like foreign dub shows, and this is very good, and I would highly recommend it to anybody who's into like a post-apocalyptic sort of horror stuff. It's not too scary, but it's definitely suspenseful and interesting, and all the monsters are cool, and it's very interesting to see how they get around that as well. So give that a shot.
Yeah, because it's technically like a horror drama.
Yeah.
I guess you could call it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a drama. It's just chaos. That's what I like.
Well, I thought it was pretty good from what I saw, and I thought especially the one like the wings, the kind of weird, scaly like
his?
Yeah, like metallic almost wings that would come out were like so gnarly looking. I mean, granted, it's like not the best like graphics as you were saying.
What you're saying
really
doesn't
cool.
happen until the end of the season. So like you've only seen him like kind of go black and then fighting with his inner demons almost. But when that finally happens, it's like amazing. It just looks so cool. It's so exciting, and I think it was well done. Like again, like we said, the CGI isn't like Marvel, you know, it's not like anything crazy, but I think it's like kind of fun that way. I think it kind of pays homage to it being a webtoon, kind of, if that makes sense. Like it's got that classic feel. The monsters, like I said, super cool, super diverse. I think like if you're into any type of monster like show, you'll really like it and appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, what would you say overall out of 10 that you would rate this show?
I would say like an 8.59, like
nice.
Probably closer to a 9, honestly. I think it really deserves to be watched. I can understand why people might not like it, but I really enjoyed it. The Wilds, I will totally probably give like an 8. I know that's also probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I do think it's a very, very interesting take on that kind of subject. For Cobra Kai, that's a solid 10 out of 10. Are we doing 5s or 10s? I don't know what we normally do.
Out of 10.
Okay.
Go out of 10, I would say.
10 out of 10, Cobra Kai.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say a 9 out of 10.
Nope, 10. And you know why
because
it gets a 10?
Obviously, the fight scenes, I had said that was one thing I would want to see a little bit ramped up in season 4.
It gets a 10 for the nostalgia effect that they did with all the Japan stuff. For the development of the characters that happened this season, there was a lot of development. And the finale episode, if that finale episode didn't go the way it would, it probably would have been like an 8.5 for me. Yeah. But that finale changed everything for me.
Yeah, and then also, what would you say for The Mandalorian? I would give The Mandalorian, I would say maybe about an 8. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't have any. I didn't finish it, so I can't really say. But I will say it's been consistent every time I watch it. For strictly Baby Yoda, a 10. For the rest of the show, I'd say an 8. If it was just a Baby Yoda compilation or Grogu, whatever his name is, I would absolutely say that's the best. What else did I say? I said the Wilds. Is there anything else we mentioned?
You mentioned another.
Julie and the Phantoms, 9 out of 10. Fantastic. Music, chef's kiss.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some honorable mentions that we are going to dive into in the next episode, which is going to be Alice in Borderland. We're going to dive into that one a little bit. And also, aside from Alice in Borderland, we are going to probably talk about, what's that one anime we're watching right now? What is that called?
Oh, Erase. Erase is an old one, though.
Really?
Yeah, it's an older anime, but you're into it, so
well,
I like
we're going
that.
to mention it at this point.
Yeah, they also, I think there's a live action of it too, but I've just put it on while we were doing something one day, and Joe started getting really into it, so I like that. I will say, if we are going to be talking about Alice in Borderlands, I would love to hear if you've watched this already. What is your solution to the 7 of Hearts game? If you watch the show, you should know what I'm talking about. I think it's like episode 3 or 4. What do you think the actual solution to that is? I'm so curious.
She's already going into trivia for next week's episode.
Well, I'm just saying, I've been looking up theories and stuff. I've been stressed out, and I would love to hear your take on that. If you've also watched any of the shows that we mentioned, I would love for you to tell us what you thought about it. If you have recommendations on things you'd like to see us do, a review on. We're on Instagram. We're Pod4the Recently Released. I'm thinking about maybe moving us to Twitter, because Twitter seems to be better, but we're definitely on Instagram right now. If you want to listen to past episodes, we have a website, which is Podcastfortherecentlyreleased as well. You can find all of our podcast episodes there, as well as links to our merchandise, as well as links to our Spotify, our SoundCloud, our Stitcher, our Google Play, our Apple, everything, everywhere where you can find podcasts.
It's like here and there.
Yeah.
All over.
We try to be everywhere. And you can also listen to us directly through our website. So just some info for you.
Oh, some info for you.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's it for the 55th episode tonight. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll be up again next week for episode 56. Thanks so much. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to yet another episode of Podcast for the Recently Released. If you want to peep some of our older episodes, we've got a ton of them. Just check us out on podcastfortherecentlyreleased.com. We've got merch, older episodes, links for other ways to listen to us, and more. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Don't let your meatloaf. Stay safe out there, guys.